The world is a global village.
And that's because information travels beyond boundaries.
And on This Morning on ITV,
we guarantee unbiased analysis on topical issues
that will educate you,
entertain you.
So join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Every Sunday to Thursday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. on your ultimate news and current affairs program on television. This morning on ITV TMR. Join us. It's a live studio. A whole lot happens here that you don't see. You can see some, you see them, but just I pray for your understanding. Okay, I was saying before that break that for every physical thing you see on earth, there's a spiritual dimension, and that in most cases, the spiritual dimension to the physical is known, but translating that that spiritual dimension to the physical, for us to feel it and perhaps contain it or avoid it is where the challenge is. So today on the show, we're talking along the lines of COVID-19, prophetic perspectives on the pandemic. Let me think very especially the state youth chairman of Christian Association of Nigeria, talking about UWICAN, Reverend Phil Arojo, who is also the senior pastor of Dayspring Gospel Church International. Reverend Phil, many thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Good morning. Thanks for having me. Good to be back.
I actually will say Happy New Year to you.
Yes.
Except that I can't show. Maybe yes. I could just.
You are here. I love you. Good to be back.
Anyway, that's what has happened with COVID, changing our lives, changing our way of doing things. But I know it's for a moment here. Okay. I also have with us on the show Apostle Dr. Jim Anaverohai. He is the senior pastor, Godhead International Illumination Center. Is also the coordinator, International Ministers of Fire Association, Apostle Anaverohai. Many thanks for joining us on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, let me start with Reverend Phil. We even back in the Bible days, there is always that insight into what is about to happen or what's going to happen. I mean, just knowing the mind of God at a certain point in time. Is it still that way today in today's church? Is it still that way? Are we able to know the mind of God? Are we able to fathom what's going to happen? I mean, take for example, COVID-19. Was there any way this was anticipated or seen in the spiritual realms? Yeah.
Thank you very much for having me once again. I won't be able to specifically say that God hid it from us or also revealed it to us.
Okay.
Because I will not be speaking the mind of all the pastors
Absolutely.
Nationwide or worldwide.
Absolutely.
But God has never left himself without a witness. Some of the fathers in faith in this nation have actually said there were some certain things that God spoke to them about at the beginning of the year. Some made it public, some didn't make it public. I didn't get a direct word from God concerning this challenge that we're going through right now.
Okay.
But there were some specific instructions that God gave to me at the beginning of the year, up till the middle of last month, that I took our church members through. Now, when the challenge came, I realized the reason why he gave me those instructions. And every one of us were at peace. We were at peace. At the beginning of the year, we emphasized on the issue of divine protection and preservation. It was things we emphasized on in our church, and so many other things that we did, which is not for public consumption, though all scriptural.
Okay.
And then now we know that it is anticipation of what was about to come that led us to that. Be that as it may, a day came when Elisha said, God hid this one from me. Yes, concerning the Shunammite woman's son who died or who passed on. And then Elisha said, how come I didn't know about it? God hid it from me. But eventually, the name of the Lord was glorified at the end of the day. Whatever is happening, I want to assure Christians all over the world that this is not the end of this age. because the Bible did not say that COVID-19 or pestilence will bring to an end. In fact, it may be one of the events that will lead to the events of the end of the age. What the Bible specifically talks about that will bring to the end of the age is when the gospel has been preached. Last Friday, a very senior man of God, Pastor Chris Oyahilomen, last on the 27th, had a global day of prayer. He was in his Lagos studio. You had Benny Hinn in Florida studio. You had McConklin and some others in California studio. And that program was on live for about 2.5 hours in some terrestrial stations in Benin, where I live here. And I saw that about 3 billion people were hooked up to that program. That's almost about half of the population
of the world.
Yes. And if in 2 hours, from your remote studio in Lagos, I use remote studio because compared to the globe, you can reach out to 3 billion people at once, then that's the gospel being preached. Without COVID-19, we won't have such an experience. So at the end of this, the devil will regret. Because if the devil knew that the betrayal and the killing of Jesus was going to bring to his defeat, they would not have used Judas to betray him.
Fantastic.
So if the devil knew what the revival, the cooperation, the unity that will come into the body of Christ at the end of this season, they wouldn't have tried this thing.
Yeah, on Friday, I think it was Pastor Benny Hinn who also talked about the unity. At this point in time, this is what is most needed. Let me come to Apostle Jim. Was there any time these thoughts came to you by divine revelation that this was going to happen, and then steps to take, actions to take?
Thank you for having me once again. I have always released our prophecies for the year.
Okay, every year you do that?
Every year I do it, every year in all the branches. I send copies of the prophecies to them before the 31st, which is a crossover night, and that has been our custom in the church.
Okay.
And often the time I've even sent, the prophecies to Eyewitness on ITV.
Okay.
I used to send them every year. That is on the 31st.
Okay.
And most of these things that are happening today were actually revealed to us. I actually gave about 37 prophecies. 37 or 38 prophecies. And prophecy number 19 actually spoke about the epidemic. He said there will be epidemic outbreak. As we know, it's an epidemic that leads to a pandemic. That there's going to be an epidemic outbreak in the year 2020. Another thing God said to us, God said we should pray. And in my prophecy number 28, God said we should pray against pollution of the air, because it's a satanic strategy to destroy lives in the year 2020. And we're equally asked to pray against death. That was the prophecy number 37, because they actually numbered, from 1 to 38, that we should pray against death in the year 2020. And I want to say that we were not really caught unaware. We unaware because we actually saw these things coming, because God has already revealed them to us.
All right, fantastic. Now, does the revelation just come and then we release it? If it comes to pass, we have this feel-good factor, or the revelation comes as a way of God helping us to help the world or help the society to avert a tragedy? What do we do in that direction?
Yeah. All I said in our prophecies for the year, all God kept saying was pray.
Okay.
That the church should pray. And taking us back to, I don't know which of the number, let me just be very sure of this I'm about to say now. God actually told us something about unity. that the strength of the church in this year 2020 is going to be on the unity of the church. The strength of the church will be on our unity.
Okay,
That
fantastic.
the church needs to be united so that we can together fight all of these that God has revealed. And in Amos chapter 3 verse 7, God will not do anything except it's revealed to his prophet.
Absolutely. All right, Reverend Phil. Let's talk about the unity of the church. Let's look at the issue which, of course, many churches are trying to contend with now, which is the issue of social distancing. Some churches have closed down completely in respect to that order by government. Others are finding a way to get around it and all that. What you make of this?
Thank you very much. Since by the grace of God, I am an official state official of CAN, I think I have insight of what has been happening since on the 20th of March. Friday, 20th of March, the state governor called for an interactive parley with all religious leaders, including those from the Muslim angle. And then we had a meeting that Friday morning at 11 a.m. in Government House, where it was decided that because of the challenges that we are foreseeing coming, there is a need for us to be circumspect in organizing our service. As at that day, there was no there was no limit to the number of persons that would gather. So Sunday 22nd, we had normal church services across Edo State, unlike what has started happening in Lagos and the FCT. Monday, because of the intensity of the things coming up, the government now, without further consultation, has agreed in the meeting. It was agreed that the state government can use its discretion, having consulted us, now brought the number to 50. I said, why not? 50 is still fine. But by Tuesday, the 24th, the government said it's now 20.
20.
Which is okay. We must realize that in this state, there is no governor that has ever fought the church. They don't fight the church because we are part and parcel of the same faith. The governor is a Christian, the deputy governor is a Christian. So nobody is against the church. Nobody. I sat yesterday. Many churches were able to observe the 2020 rule. I, for example, had service yesterday. I had 5 services that lasted 30 minutes, and I had 98 persons in that 5 services.
That's the aggregate now?
Yes.
The aggregate?
Yes.
Okay.
98 in 5 services. We made sure that it was no more than 20.
20, okay.
Because what we had done was to send messages to tell our members not to come. Children don't come, women don't come, just a few of us. I needed to have the leaders to meet together so that we can strategize for the coming days. So that's why I had just 98 persons, just my leaders and that were there. So having had that service, we attended to ourselves in 2020s, and then that was the end of that service. Now what happened was that in some churches, about 23 of them, like I heard, still went on to do full services, and that wasn't good. That wasn't good. Apart from the fact that the state government and the church have decided that we should come to 2020, you also have to take precaution.
Yeah.
A prudent man foresees evil and avoids it. It's not that we are scared. We are people of faith. We are not scared of the devil. But there are some certain steps that we have to take to avoid this crisis. And that's part of what we're saying. In fact, the latest now is that yesterday afternoon, the Christian Association of Nigeria, Edo State, has issued an instruction that no church should congregate in the next 2 weeks.
14 days.
14 days. That unfortunately includes Easter Sunday. But that's the state we have found ourselves. Like Jesus said, the time is coming when the true worshippers will neither go to Jerusalem or go to the mountain. The true worshippers will worship him in spirit and in truth. I just made reference to God's servant. Are we not blessed at this time that the person who is championing this thing is even an Edo man? God's servant could reach 3 billion people. 3 billion people from the studio. The gospel is spreading. Oyedepo had 3 services from the studio yesterday all over the world. Ditto for Redeem, Mountain of Fire and all the rest. Across the globe, we are reaching out. we can do this at this time. This is not the time to fight the government. This is not the time to fight anybody. This is the time for us to just obey instructions and work with what the government and the church they say. This one yesterday evening is not even the government now, it is the church. If you are a Christian and the chairman of CAN had given a broadcast, had given instruction that no church should hold service in Edo State for the next 2 Sundays, for the next 14 days, whether midweek service or Sunday service, all you just know, before you know, 14 days is over. And then we can contain this
spread of the virus.
And because the people have to be alive for you to minister to them. You have to be alive to minister to the people.
And we all know the same level of faith.
Yes,
responding to
that
this
is
issue.
one aspect of it. But my counsel also to the people out there who thinks that the only reason why the church want to meet is because of tithe and offering. I think that they need to sanctify their heart. Because you see on the social media, I say, no, the church is meeting is because of tithe and offering. For God's sake, how much is tithe and offering?
How much is that?
Do you know how much billions that Christ Embassy spent on Friday?
It's huge. It's huge.
Do you know how much billions they spend? The people talking, how much do they have? I said to someone yesterday, if Oyedepo does not collect tithe and offering for the next 5 years, it can never be poor. It's not your tithe and offering that's making it. So when you accuse pastors that the reason why they want to hold a service, hold church service, is because of tithe and offering, you are making a mistake. A woman went to church yesterday, and they said, "Go." She said, "I'm not going home." Is it not sickness? Lazarus died of sickness and went to heaven. So whatever it is better I die in the house of God. I'm telling you, police came. They thought the pastor was holding church, a mega church in Benin. Ikobahi has this, Aochi Road has this. The mega church, police came. And they said, we're not holding service, we're just instructing them to go as they come because we didn't reach out to all of them. And the woman said, I'm not going home. If I get sickness or disease in the house of God, Lazarus got it. I mean, he was sick and he died and went to heaven. Whatever it is, I'll go to heaven. What do you do to such thing?
It's based on his conviction, on her conviction.
On her conviction.
Yes.
So that's what it is. There are people who also need to provide hope. Because this affliction, I was telling people that, look, I'm not sure that anybody who is alive today in Nigeria had ever seen anything like this.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
The last, what I've been trying to read, 1918 and all the rest, who is 102 years old in Nigeria? So if nobody who is alive has seen it, it means this thing is new.
Very strange
And
too.
Very strange.
we need to provide hope.
Okay.
We need to give instruction and direction to the people.
Okay. Let me come to Apostle Anabaloha. Does it bother you that sometimes, if not most times, when these prophetic inspirations come forth, it's difficult for those in leadership to take it seriously and take action or take precautionary measure? Are you concerned about that? And what do you think is really responsible for this seeming apathy on the part of leadership?
So many factors are involved. Faithlessness can be involved. Lack of belief, they may not believe. You know, it's one thing for a prophet to say a word. It's another thing for the people to believe. But that won't stop us from saying what God is saying to us. You know, they doesn't just believe. I've sent, you know, copies of my prophecies to Eyewitness Report on ITV. Not once, not twice, not thrice. But they've never been visited. And I don't know why. If not for this privilege, I'm happy to be here today. Because most cases, you know, sometimes when the big prophets, you know, big pastors in quote, you know, are giving prophecies, people listen more. But when pastors that are just coming up, you know, give a word of prophecy, people don't take them serious. They just see it as, who is he? Who is she? And at the end of the day, when these things begin to come to pass, they are like, that person said it. If we go through all the prophecies we've been given every year, the annual prophecies, you discover that there is none of those prophecies that didn't come to pass.
Okay.
And this is one of the ways a true prophet of God is known. When you give a word of prophecy and the prophecy comes to pass.
Okay.
I want to take us.
So are you saying if you give a word of prophecy and it doesn't come to pass, that makes you
the prophecy is not true?
Yes.
No.
Or does that make you not to be a true prophet of God?
No, it's not a yardstick.
Okay.
You can give a prophecy that is from God, and that prophecy was adverted. Maybe through prayers, maybe by the prayers of the saints. Let me give you an instance. Some years ago, then Lucky Benedion was the governor of the state. That was towards the
end of his
tenure. You know, and I was privileged to be invited to his to the governor's mother's house. You know, it was through a church I went to preach, Triumphant Family, Tony Aduba. I ministered for him, and the governor's sister was in that service. I didn't know. She saw the prophecies, you know, in the course of that meeting, and when the governor had real serious issues, and that has to do with his impeachment, I was invited. It was through the pastor I was invited, and I went to the house. And I just gave names, about 3 names, that these were the people God was going to use to advert this. And it was on observer I saw the fulfillment of that prophecy. You know, people will not, those that will not believe will not believe.
But don't you think that in a sense, this semi lack of faithlessness or lack of belief, or this utterances not be taken seriously, it could be the result of the proliferation of churches, the proliferation of prophets?
Yeah, we know. We know. By the grace of God, I have been in the faith going to 3 decades now. You know, you may have heard about my case. I was the apostle that was shot by robbers. You know, I was shot by robbers in the year 1997. I lost both fibulas. You know, that is why I'm using an orthopedic shoe. Omobude is my father. You know, and what I want to say here, we have a lot of fake pastors, but we still have genuine pastors.
Let me bring Reverend Phil in here. How do we bridge this gap of prophetic utterances that will help to direct the course of leadership?
Thank you very much. Part of the question you asked him earlier is if a prophecy doesn't come to pass, does it make the prophet fake?
Yeah.
No, certainly not. Because God too can adjust, can
change his mind over certain matters.
That was the problem with Jonah. Jonah said, if I go and preach, people will repent, and then you won't punish them again. In Isaiah chapter 38, one of the major prophets in scripture is Prophet Isaiah. God said to him, go and tell King Hezekiah to put his house in order because he's going to die. He won't recover from the sickness. And he went and delivered the message. And then Hezekiah the king went to God in prayers, and he was specific. You know how I've worked with you with a lawyer hard, and I've done what was right in your sight. And he wept. That touched God. Isaiah was still on his way out when God said to him, go and tell Hezekiah, I have added 15 more years. So the person who heard the first prophecy, when Isaiah delivered it, and left, and didn't know what happened between Hezekiah and God, and didn't know now that God has spoken to Isaiah to go and tell Hezekiah, will just run with the first message, that Hezekiah is going to die. And if Hezekiah doesn't die, then he will not say Isaiah is a
fake prophet.
So you don't know what has transpired. That's what it is. That's what it is. The reality is that there are so many fakes in the body of Christ today. So much. In our city. So much. Many of them are rebels. That's why when Khan gives instruction, they begin to fight it. Edo State today is privileged in the body of Christ, and I will tell you how. The chairman of the Catholic Bishop Conference is an Edoman. Archbishop Augustine Obiora Kobese is the Archbishop of the Benin Metropolitan City, and is the chairman of all the Catholic bishops in the country today. So any major decision the Catholic is going to take will eventually be sealed by him. The head of the Pentecostal churches in Nigeria is an Edoman, resident here. Dr. Felix Omobode. He has given instruction that, look, churches should obey the instruction of the government across the states. The Catholic Archbishop has given instruction, no Catholic church will hold service. Pastor Chris of Christ Embassy is an Edoman. Even if he's a global figure as of today, he's an Edoman. And he's the one championing this global prayer. I don't know what happened, but I'm sure it was in the course of that meeting on Friday that they had the leading to extend it to 7 days fasting and prayer. That's what I observed when I was
may not have been pre-planned here.
Pre-planned.
Yeah.
And it's not taking it, there is an endowment. And there are still some people who are rebelling against instruction. No, that's not right. We have genuine pastors, we have genuine prophets, we also have fake prophets. But what the reason why people think that the reason why we meet is because of tithe and offering. Oh, that if not for tithe and offering, why are we meeting and all the rest? And I keep wondering, how much is this tithe and offering? The people who give what runs the church are less than 20% of the members. Less than 20 members.
Yeah,
and
true.
most of the funds that runs the church are not actually from the church. They come from those who are not directly there, who you are not ministering to on a daily basis. That's what the world should know. For my brothers and sisters who are in faith, rebellion against authority is not good. I'm not talking about the government authority. I'm talking about the authority of the church. And Khan has spoken, PFN has spoken. You are not the one that called yourself. People have been preaching before you were called. After you are gone, people will still preach. So for this season, we're not scared. We're people of faith. Let me quickly mention this also. Apart from the church, the government is not also doing enough concerning this issue of social distancing. Do you know that New Benin market as at this morning, everybody is carrying on as if nothing is happening? Do you know at Rama Park this morning, these are places I drove down to get here, people are carrying on as if nothing is happening. So the question also asks, when we shut down the church, the people who don't want to come to the church are in the marketplaces. What are you going to do about it? So the focus should not just be on us, the church. Oh, we'll strangulate them, we'll take their money. No, nobody can stop.
Maybe because market people need to buy food items, do a whole lot of stuff to be able to.
We need to be more strategic.
Look at what Lagos did. Even the buying of the food item is
Yeah.
another aspect that need to be looked into.
Okay.
Most people, as of today, are beginning to change their line of business. Some are beginning to add things like tomatoes, things like rice, just to remain in the market. It's really important that the government look into this.
Okay.
What has Lagos State government done? They shut all the markets. That's even before the president's speech yesterday.
Yeah.
They shut all the markets. The schools that has been closed, those who have food items and medication, bring them, lock the store, the market is shut down, bring food to the school. You buy, sell, and go. So nobody pretends. So you can't come to the shop, the makeshift market, the school, and sell clothes. You can't come and sell any other thing. So it's, if you have food to sell, we have to be proactive. Delta State government has shut down the borders. Ekiti, Osun has shut.
Imo,
Abia, Rivers has shut.
Others.
Okay, the people who are passing through those, where are they going to? Are we going to wait for this thing? The traces, the contact tracing, the first set of contact tracing that left Lagos, 260 came to Edo State. Are we going to wait and we are just focusing on the church? Church, don't host the church, don't host, and everybody is going on. Motor parks are working, restaurants are open, the markets are open as if the church is the problem. The church isn't the problem.
Church is not the problem.
Go to the market, go to the street, and get people to go inside the house.
Fantastic.
That's what we need to do.
If you just join us, it's the TMI Monday. Looking at the wide range of issues, particularly the prophetic perspectives on the pandemic, just so you can make sense of it all. I have with me in the studio Reverend Phila Roger, who's the Edo State Chairman of the Youth Wing of CAN. And I also have Apostle Jim Anavero High, who is the Senior Pastor of Godhead International Illumination Center. Gentlemen, once again, thank you for coming. And now, just before we cap it up, President Muhammadu Buhari yesterday made a speech, made a broadcast, which is still a major talking point as people try to x-ray different aspects of the broadcast. I actually saw a WhatsApp message where someone tried to make comparison between the welfare packages from the US, UK, Italy, Spain, and the rest of them. And the person now concluded by saying that what we got for our citizens in Nigeria is 20 naira because we reduced the pump price of fuel from 145 naira to 125 naira. And then people also said they expected Mr. President to say more yesterday. I don't know what you make of that aspect of his process. Let me begin with you, Apostle Jim. Yeah, I mean, talking about welfare now, what do you make of the president's speech?
I don't know, because Nigeria, well, we want to talk in terms of assisting the citizens of this country. First and foremost, there are a lot of things we really need to put into consideration. We don't really have the database. You know, even if the citizens are to be, you know, assisted or rather supported, we discover reaching out to them become a major challenge. You know, it's not just about, okay, a certain amount of money has been released, but how would this money get to the masses?
Absolutely.
How will it get to them?
That's what the challenge is.
Yeah, a lot of people, as of yesterday in Dumaze, you know, in some wars, they started taking people's account number. That money is coming from the state, money is coming from federal, everybody come and write down. People were just writing people's account number. And when this information got to me, I just laughed. You know, if there is anything to be done, to me, you know, my brother said something earlier, what is happening in Lagos. It's not wrong to copy. You can even copy and upgrade on what you have copied.
Absolutely.
And even be better off.
Yeah.
Therefore, these things are already going on in some part of the world, even in some part of the states in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Therefore, what we need to do is just copy from these people. We can copy from Lagos State. A lot is really going on. Okay. Because if money is just to be shared, how would this money get to the masses?
That's a big question.
Somebody said something about BVN. That there is another way, people that have account number. It's not everybody that operates an account. We have some age people that doesn't operate an account.
How would they get it if you use BVN? How would they get
their own relief? At the end of the day, there's a major challenge.
Okay, all right. Reverend Phil, let me get your thoughts on this, because I had someone took time to list out all the donations that have come. NNPC, 11 billion naira. Jim Ovia, 1 billion naira. Aliko Dangote, 1 billion naira. Femi Otedola, just like that. What's going on? Why are they giving this money to the federal government? Can't they just put this money together? 180 million Nigerians, 200 Nigerians, divide it and then share this money amongst everybody. Why are they having it to
there was something that the Health Minister said yesterday, that this money is like using this money to replace money that has been spent. That the federal government has been spending money.
Yes.
I didn't know if you watched it.
Yes.
If you saw that.
Yes.
That is like
using this money to replace
replacement of fund. The money that has been spent. The federal government has been spending money. You know, you see the old.
That it's very
only God will help us.
It's very interesting. Yes.
The US, in the first instance, projected $1 trillion for the fight of COVID-19. As at that time, Germany said $600 billion. Later, last week, at the close of last week, they doubled it to $2 trillion. $2 trillion. $2 trillion, because of time, is the budget size of Nigeria for 80 years. What America wants to spend to fight COVID-19 at the budget size of 10 trillion naira that we have for 2020, it will take 80 years for Nigeria to spend that money. 80 years. Because $1 trillion is approximately 400 million. 400 trillion. So it will take 80 years. That's where we are. That's one. Looking at the president's speech, about 56 paragraph speech, I don't think that the president is aware of the things that are totally happening around the country. Because if he knows what is happening, when all the schools have been shut, you are talking of school feeding program. How? Where are they going to send the money to? Send the food to? To the school feeding program. That you have told them to sustain the school feeding program for children that are at home. What's wrong with the speech writers of the president? Don't they know what is happening, that there is no school that is in place? I'm not also aware that there's a school feeding program in Edo State.
I've not seen any
currently
in
going
Edo
on.
State.
So when you say things like that, well, for the speech, it is better late than never. At least he has said something. People are saying him, and he has said something. But that's not it. If the president knew what was happening, he would have known that shutting down Lagos, Ogun, and FCT is too late, because most states have already shut down. Did he know? He doesn't know of that. That most states have already shut down. So that's an action taken too late. Coming to welfare, on your news yesterday evening, the radio news, in my local government, where our church headquarters is, because I'm a man from 3 local governments. I live in Ikpoboka, I have church in Uhuode, and I'm from Orionwo. On the news, that in Uhuode, they have centers where people were giving out names. In fact, in the church, one of our leaders, in our church, one of the leaders that came, and I think APC leaders need to defend this, with the party, the local government chairman, the council chairman has already defended, that is APC members that they are giving, they are collecting their numbers to send money. When they told me that in church, I said, no, I'm a leader in the body of Christ. I'm close to the government, I'm close to the governor. If there's anything going to happen palliative, they will let me know. Until I heard the report in the news that at a health center, people were giving out
account numbers, names, and account numbers.
And the council chairman said that no, that they were not supposed to gather that. That was where Radiness came and all the rest.
Yes.
I think during the last election, on the election day, I was one of those who monitored. So I went to different places. I went to my village that election day. And I was told by the people in my community that as early as 6 a.m. that election day, some people were going from house to house, knocking doors and dropping 1,000 naira, telling them who to vote for. If the government, federal, state, or local government, want to reach out to the people, whether you have an account number or not,
they know what to do.
They say when you reach out to people during election, go to their houses.
They know what to do.
Every community has a leader.
Yes.
Call the Enoge of my dukedom in my community in Orionwo.
Or the Ojon way.
Yes, call him. He knows all the houses.
He
knows those who are alive. He knows those who have died, whether they have BVN or not. If it is 1,000 or 2,000, one bag of whatever you have to give to them, take it there. If we want to do, I'm available. The youth wing of CAN is available. The chairman of CAN told me yesterday, be ready because we may need you. We are available. We have graciously, the governor gave the youth wing of CAN a bus. So it's available. We are ready to go around the state to help to distribute anything that the government wants to distribute. And I can assure you we won't steal anything from it.
Okay. Thank you very much. Let me take a final word from you on, because now COVID has come. We're praying it goes away. Prophetic utterances have been made. Words have been spoken. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? Yeah.
It will disappear just the same way it appeared.
That seems to be like a general statement.
No,
because
it will go.
Now, I heard of someone who said by 27th of March, COVID-19 will be a thing of the past. And then people started analyzing this on social media. That as of today, the numbers just keep increasing. Yes, yes.
See, all we need to do is just to be strong. We just need to be strong. The Bible says in the book of John 14, verse number 1, let not your heart be troubled. Sure. Believe in God and believe also in me. And God has not given to us the spirit of fear. God may not be responsible, but if God had not permitted it, it will happen. Look at the case of Job. You know, it was the edge that was built around Job. The devil could not assail Job until the edge was removed. Yeah. If God had not permitted it, the devil should have had access to Job. You know, whatever that is happening now started in one day, and it will end in one day.
Okay.
COVID-19 ended on the 27th of March.
That was on Friday.
Yes, that's the day it ended. Because I believe in authority. I watched God's servant, Pastor Chris Life said, towards the end of the program, said that COVID or coronavirus is dead. And I believe that. We are people of faith. I'm not doubting it. It's like when you have a fan running and you've turned it off, it will still be rolling.
And there was something that Benin is
that day was 27th of March. Yeah. Is dead.
Benny said something that this COVID-19 will end with Easter. That was what he said.
Yes, I heard that.
Yeah, that was what he said.
I heard that.
You know, and just as he has said, I believe in authority a lot, and I believe in the words of the prophets. You know, for the fact that these generals have spoken, let's be positive. I know this thing will end.
Okay, thank you very much.
It's gone.
It's
Whatever
gone.
is happening,
Yeah,
that's
gone. Let's just have our faith
yeah.
at that is gone.
That's the reason why the media is there. In areas where a ban has been ordered by Mr. President or the state governor, as the case may be, there are establishments that have been exempted because of their strategic nature. One of them is the media, and it's not just to keep you updated with the latest, in terms of the information available as COVID-19 unfolds continuously or continually, but to also give you that message of hope. And that's exactly what we've had the privilege of doing today with Reverend Phil Aroji, the UWICAN Chairman of the State, as well as Apostle Dr. Jim Anavero High, who is the Senior Pastor of Godhead International Mission Center, and also the coordinator of IMOFA. Gentlemen, I want to thank you for the time with us here, and for being available to share your experiences and your thoughts. We appreciate. It's a TMI Monday. We'll take a short break, and then we'll be back with the concluding segment of the program.